Hey, what's going on, guys? This is Straw Hat Movies coming at you again, talking about movies with you guys. And I'm wearing a Star Wars shirt right now, and there's a good reason for that. So, this is going to be a doozy because I feel like I'm going to piss a lot of people off with this video. And to be quite frank, it's my opinion. I don't really care. You can like what you like. But I feel like I've come to this realization, this epiphany, if you will, that I just don't care about Star Wars anymore. I don't. I'm tired. I'm tapped out. I'm done. And that's not me saying I'm not going to watch any more movies. It's just that if you ask me how I feel about Star Wars, I'm going to just tell you that I don't care. I am exhausted from the conversations that I have about Star Wars. I just feel like we're all trying to capture something that's not going to happen. And what I mean by that is the original trilogy was great. It was a masterpiece, right? Like, obviously, Return of the Jedi is not as good as Empire. Like, we can get into all that, whatever. But I feel like after that original trilogy ended, everything Star Wars related after that has been trying to capture the magic that was Star Wars, that was that original trilogy. And I don't think nothing has reached those heights yet. Like, not at all. Like, when I look at the original trilogy, I look at cinema. I look at I see cinema, right? Like, it's something that's never been done before, like sights that you've never seen before, special effects, even acting in the original trilogy. You can say what you will about whiny Mark Hamill and Luke and like whatever, but all those things come together to actually make truly great films. Empire Strikes Back improved on sequels. Like, it proved that you can make a sequel that's even better than the original, darker than the original, bigger than the original. And I feel like everything that comes, it influenced cinema. Like, let's be frank, Star Wars influenced cinema. The very first Star Wars, A New Hope, it was nominated for Best Picture at the Oscar. Okay, fucking Obi-Wan, Guinness, I can't remember his whole name. Like, don't fucking come at me. I'm just off the top of the dome. He was nominated for Best Actor in that movie, or no, Best Supporting Actor in that movie. So, like, obviously, when it came out, people were still seeing it as like a piece of cinema, a piece to be like cherished. Whereas, like, now, Star Wars has become part of this like franchise machine, this machine that just only focuses on taking advantage of people's nostalgia for the property and churning out these things in hopes that maybe lightning might strike twice, or at the very least they're going to make a buck off of it. And that right there, at this point, after seeing this new trilogy, these new set of Star Wars films, it's become more and more clear that that is what's going on. Is that, yeah, you got some people behind the camera, like on the team, that's trying to recapture that magic, but at the same time, the studio clearly are making these to make money. And I remember 2012, I was working at Disneyland in 2012, and I remember they made the announcement that Disney had purchased Lucasfilm, and I was really excited because the very next day we got all this Star Wars merch, and we got announcements that they're going to do a whole new trilogy, and I was super excited about it because I was thinking like, oh my god, Star Wars is back. It's fucking back, and it's going to go back to practical effects, and it's going to be a sequel, a true sequel to the original trilogy, and we're going to get Luke Skywalker and his prime, we're going to get Han Solo, we're going to get all this stuff. And Force Awakens came out and it blew me away. I love Force Awakens. I still love Force Awakens to this day. It set up some really intriguing storylines. I thought Rey was not a Mary Sue. I thought she was a great character. Finn, an ex-stormtrooper who turns into a hero, like, love that. The return of Han Solo, Luke Skywalker being like hidden, like, I loved everything that movie set up. It was a great start to what should have been a great trilogy. And then Last Jedi happened. And then Rogue One happened, and then Solo happened, and then Rise of Skywalker happened. And over time, I just really started to go, what are we doing here? It was not the prequel trilogy all over again, because when those came out, it was the same thing. Star Wars is back. We're going to get a prequel. We're going to see Anakin Skywalker in his prime. We're going to see him turn into Darth Vader. It's going to be one of the greatest prequel Same. It was the same. The further it went along, the worse it got. I mean, maybe you can make an argument that Revenge of the Sith ended it on a high note, but it just seems like every attempt is trying to recapture the magic that is Star Wars, but it will never be Star Wars. And I feel like the fan base will never be happy with this version of Star Wars. And people ask me all the time, like, ooh, what do you think about the Rise of Skywalker? What do you think about The Last Jedi? I made a video about The Last Jedi. You can check that video out. But I can acknowledge, like, as great as I think The Last Jedi is, I honestly think it's the best next to Empire. It's like right behind Empire, if you ask me. As a film, as a standalone film, but as a piece of the machine in a franchise, in a trilogy, it does not work. It ruined the trilogy. It was something that I found to be great, but if it was a standalone, it would have been greater, but it ruined a trilogy. And that's just because, different directors, different whatever you want to say that happened, it ruined the trilogy. Because then Rise of Skywalker had to pick up those pieces. Now, where Rise of Skywalker falls is that instead of continuing those threads that Last Jedi falls into, you try to walk it back. And you try to not only pay off those things that you set up in Force Awakens, but you try to erase those same things that happened in Last Jedi. And that just creates a whole trilogy that's at war with itself. You got Force Awakens, who is the younger brother who's seeing his two older brothers fight. You got the bad boy Last Jedi, and then you got the more quote-unquote responsible Rise of Skywalker just trying to fix everything. When in reality, if you really wanted to continue a thread and finish everything on a high note, then you would continue what Last Jedi did. As bad as what Jedi did, you gotta pick up those pieces and not try and fix everything, but just say, okay, this is what we got. How can we make this great? And the Rise of Skywalker just does not do that. It doesn't. And it just becomes a muddled mess. It was marketed as 40-year conclusion. It was a conclusion 40 years in the making. And to be honest, I didn't even know where we were headed until I saw the trailer for Rise of Skywalker. When Last Jedi ended, I was like, okay, where are we going? What's happening? At least in the prequel trilogy, you knew that was going to end with Anakin Skywalker becoming Darth Vader. You knew in the original trilogy, you knew that was going to end in a standoff between Luke and his father, and then eventually he was going to stand off against the Emperor. But in this trilogy, where do we end up? A bunch of people on a fucking small ass ship saying that, oh yeah, we survived. And Luke's dead. Supreme Leader the fucking Kylo Ren is Supreme Leader Snoke. Okay, where are we going? Is this leading to a fight with Kylo Ren? But Kylo Ren still has good in him. What's going to happen with that? It was just so many loose ends upon loose ends that I wasn't even excited for Rise of Skywalker. And then by the time the trailer came out, Rise of Skywalker said, oh, guess what? The Emperor is back. Despite not even teasing that he was around in the first place. Clearly just throwing that in because it's part of the original trilogy. Trying to capture that magic again. And then they did the most safest thing by saying oh yeah, Kylo Ren, he gets redeemed just like Darth Vader. Oh yeah, we're gonna fight the Emperor just like Luke Skywalker. Oh yeah, we're gonna have we're gonna fucking have Palpatine shoot some fucking lightning and then get hurt by it, just like Mace Windu did in the prequel trilogy, just like he did in Rise of Skywalker. It was so freaking safe. And I don't know how many times we can have a space battle where people show up and say, oh, you're not alone. Here's a whole bunch more people. You did that in The Force Awakens too. You had a space battle. You saved people's bacon. This franchise, as much as it hurts me to say, it needs to die. It needs to die. And I'm sorry, Star Wars fans. Honestly, like I said, this is just my opinion. You guys can like what you like, but this franchise definitely needs to die because I don't understand what we're doing with it anymore. I don't understand it. 2012, we found out we were getting all these movies, and then we got movies in between movies. I actually like Rogue One. I thought Rogue One was an awesome piece of cinema, but Solo happened. Didn't need Solo. Kind of enjoyed it. That's fine. But why are we blowing this whole thing out more than it already has? And it's not even like we're telling new stories. We're just recycling the same shit. And to be honest, I don't want to see any more new stories. I don't want to see any more new stories of Star Wars, to be honest. Sometimes you need to let stuff be. And I really do believe that. Just let things be. You don't need to keep expanding, keep making it bigger, because then I get overwhelmed and I'm done. I don't need an 8-layer cake when I only got 4 people in my family. That's 2 layers a person. Why do I need to eat a 2-layer cake? Just give me a freaking cake. We'll split it up amongst ourselves. I know that sounds weird, but that's just how I feel. This whole thing has got I honestly intended for this to be a shorter video, but this really got me pissed off. Y'all. And I'm sorry that I'm just sitting here ranting. I'm just trying to get all these out before my daughter wakes up from her nap. But yeah, so Hey, you guys let me know how you feel about the Star Wars trilogy. I went on long enough. It's like about 10 minutes of me ranting. But you guys let me know how you feel about Star Wars. Should it die or should they try something new? Are you still excited about it? Is the fatigue setting in? But until then, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. So thank you so much for listening to me rant. Just make sure that you follow this page if you're not doing it already, and make sure you hit that like and hit the bell so you get notifications for all my videos. Thank you so much, guys.